Hello, welcome to the Tao of Yoga Nidra, a healing path for workaholics. My name is Chantel Punch and I am your host. And my goal is to help people who are overworked, for whatever reason, to find healing, rest, vitality through the ancient practices of Yoga Nidra and Taoism. And so this episode is an overview or genuine introduction to the whole podcast series. So, who is this podcast for? As I said, it's for the overworked, and that includes a broad spectrum of categories. It may include people who have problems with work addiction, people who are workaholics, who recognize that their inability to stop working or to stop worrying about work issues when they're not at work is impacting, in a negative sense, their day-to-day life or their relationships. But it also covers people who may have to work multiple jobs, or people who are in situations where they're extremely short-staffed and they're doing more than their own job, people who have to work several jobs because they're working to pay off debts or because of their financial circumstances. We're going through a cost of living crisis. So there may be many reasons why people are overworked. For some, people just don't have time to rest or relax. And then there are others who resist resting and relaxation for psychological reasons because they may have issues with work addiction. And then there are people who just find it impossible to rest and relax when they do have downtime because they're so wired and stressed out from their workplace situation. So they also have problems with insomnia and just a general inability to relax and unwind. And because of this, if you are in this situation, you may be finding that your lifestyle is becoming unsustainable. Overworking may have led to problems with your physical health, chronic illnesses and health conditions, long-term problems such as back pain, etc. And then overworking may also have had a toll on your day-to-day emotional well-being and your energy levels and your sense of vitality, your enthusiasm for life. That may all be decreasing and on the downturn because of being on this constant treadmill of habitual overwork. So not only your energy levels and your vitality, it may be affecting your emotional state, your moods, and in turn impacting on your relationships with your friends, with your family, and your overall quality of life. And then there's another area which is usually impacted by continual overwork or workplace stress, and that is mental health, of course. So there may be problems with anxiety, depression, and other forms of mental health problems. So the purpose of this podcast series is to help people who are overworked and who may be experiencing problems of ill health, physical ill health, mental health problems, problems with their emotional stability, energy, vitality. The purpose of this podcast series is to create a kind of healing path, a way to facilitate rest and relaxation for people who either don't have time to rest, or people who resist rest, or people who find it impossible to rest. And the three main pillars of this podcast series, the three main themes that we'll be exploring and practicing are Yoga Nidra, which I'll go into more detail about in a minute, philosophy of Taoism, which I'll also go into a bit more detail, and the power of energy healing. So what's Yoga Nidra? It's a practice which facilitates deep relaxation and rest. You don't have to be an experienced meditator to reap the benefits of Yoga Nidra, because all you're doing is listening to the voice of a guide who will take you down into a place, into a space of deep relaxation. First by relaxing the physical body, and then working with your energy levels and your breathing, and then working with the mind. So the purpose of Yoga Nidra is that the body is put to sleep, the mental activity is put to sleep, but your awareness, your consciousness remains awake. And in doing so, you receive multiple healing benefits, which we will go more into as the podcast series progresses. And then there is the theme of Taoism, which is particularly effective for people who may be experiencing problems with overworking. The Taoist philosophy encourages effortless action. It encourages us to work in sync with our circumstances with the least effort. It encourages us to let go of excessive control and helps us to adapt to circumstances, whether they be expected or unexpected, as they arise. The philosophy of Taoism encourages simplicity, which helps us then to prioritize, and it helps to simplify our decisions. It helps us to reduce overwhelm because we're no longer trying to force every circumstance to fit in with rigid plans, and we're more able to adapt and adjust to things as they arise, and that also in turn helps us to reduce stress and anxiety. We learn to trust and have more confidence in ourselves, and we stop feeling as if we can't handle things and it's as if we're being swamped and bombarded. We become more efficient and effective in our actions. And another very key and important component of Taoism, which is also present in the practice of Yoga Nidra, is mindfulness and presence. Being present in the moment and fully engaging with what you're doing. So these were all three things, Yoga Nidra, Taoism, and energy healing, are effective tools on the journey of recovery from being overworked and from all the impacts and consequences that that has had on your physical health, your emotional well-being, and your mental state. So my aim with the format of this podcast series is to have some episodes which are dedicated to exploring the issues of workplace stress and work addiction and all the problems associated with that in terms of the impact on physical health, the nervous system, mental health, anxiety, depression, and providing holistic practical solutions. But then there'll also be episodes which are solely dedicated to the practice of Yoga Nidra. And for those episodes, my recommendation is that you don't do anything else while you're listening to those episodes and just completely commit to doing the practice of Yoga Nidra, eyes closed, lying in bed or on a couch or even in the seated position or on a yoga mat, whichever is best for you, and to just completely devote that time to the experience of Yoga Nidra. And my hope is that over time you'll receive the accumulative benefits of following this practice, because it helps, truly helps all levels of the self that we were talking about, the physical, emotional, the energy levels, and the mental health side. So I hope that gives you a flavour of what I'm hoping to bring about, manifest with this podcast series. And if it resonates with you, please do join me in the next episode.